also look at this and say, this is telling us something about who we are to be as followers of Jesus when we find ourselves in confrontation with that which is evil, which can take a hold of people, things like addictions, take a hold of people's lives and damage them, and that we are called to try and respond to these things and liberate people from them. In my own experience, it has come up a number of times in the ministry. I've been approached, not many times, but a small number of times by individuals who felt that they were in some way possessed. And I've never conducted an exorcism of a person and would not do so. Our normal procedure, this would be to seek to refer that person to somebody with specialist knowledge.
Same with us, isn't it?
Both to a minister, clergy person who had particular specialist knowledge in that area, but they would also want to work with somebody with medical knowledge. So that an exorcism could take place, but it would only happen with careful thought and consultation, and it would be nothing like what you see in films. It would simply be some prayers for that person to be protected and set free from inflicted. What I have done is prayed with people who have felt that a place was somehow infected with evil, which feels to me a far less risky procedure, because all you are doing there, or all I will be doing there, is praying in that place that these people might feel that they are safe in that place, that they might recognise that the power of God is always greater than that which threatens them, however they perceive that. That would be something that most of my colleagues would feel very comfortable. It would be rare, but with an individual who said, I have a spirit inside me, a bad spirit, we would exercise extreme caution, and concern, but caution about that situation.
So we generally agree there is God has created man and a being we call them generative. And films like Exorcist do show the active involvement of the clergy in cleansing the place, the person, and we also agreed that not every man of class, man or a priest can do it. You have to refer to a specialist. So all those things are accepted. That just being an imam doesn't mean it gives you the thing. But I think what both of you refer to something. In an evolutionary manner, your communities have evolved through education and faith literacy in understanding the concepts of good and evil. But if you put yourself in a position in any of the developing countries where literacy is an issue, where faith is very much part that gives them the hope, and where they still cling to maybe old wives' tales or whatever, but in reality, it's an everyday thing. In reality, and this can be proven by the incidences of things that have gone wrong, which the police here have found. But then, because I've done a bit of work with mental health, there is place in mental health. There's a place for faith. Apparently, people with mental health issues, whatever issues they are, whether they believe they're possessed or driven by something or phobias they have, faith can overtake their Valium and help, because I think if a member, if the patient sits with a priest or whatever, they can develop an understanding and learn to understand and become aware of issues, and through appropriate contact and behavior, maybe spiritual care, he or she will come out of this deep depression. Is depression to do with jinn? I don't know. Association with things are difficult. But you know, in India there is imams who can take the spirit out and put them in bottles and carry them on their persons. Is that correct?
Well, I think I don't know if it is in this deep in this effect or not, but also reality is if we see in the hospital, mental hospital, some people they have brain very good health, nothing is wrong with health, nothing wrong with brain, but physically they are okay. But if you see they are doing like they think they are possessive. So I think if like just you mentioned there are some other places, only faith places. So I think reality is suffer some invisible things. Some people who know it, some they are suffering. They think is mentally illness, they are mentally ill. Sometimes suddenly something is happening.
He's done his homework, you see, because the concept for Muslims is that when you go into a house, into a room, you say Assalamu alaikum, or you make a noise. Why? Perhaps there is something there. And if you are not educated, or you see the darkness, that can play on your mind and create a condition where you believe you've been taken over. So the cleanliness was one. Faith literacy is something I've mentioned, and education itself helps. How do people in my relatives up Northland, not that the North is uneducated.
Be careful, I'm a northerner.
Yeah, but I think most of mass immigration was to the mills, you know, to the factories, and those people are still there. What is complicating today is that the television now has many Muslim channels, and they have all these scholars, imams sitting there with huge beards like mine, and big tasbeehs or prayer beads, and they give these phone numbers where the vulnerable can ring in, and every second costs £1. And apparently what is being sold to the person, to the viewer, is that phone me, and through dialogue he will identify what's wrong with you. And people with mental health and whatever issues are phoning in, and BT are making a lot of profit, and the individuals making profit. But it's something where I have noticed in my community, because when I go there, I just slap a few slaps, wake up, the only person getting rich is there. No wonder you're depressed, your bank account is empty. So it is a danger. Why? Because the vulnerable connect with the voice, with the recitations from the Quran, because they're selective in quoting different parts of the Quran, and people get all spiritually wound up. Obviously, Mufti doesn't have a television, so he can't comment. But I think in your travels you've seen the Islamic channels.
I've seen it.
And it is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, because you don't know a person who is talking to you, what is his background, and what he is saying. You're just blind.
There's a commercialization of the religion, of the faith, and of taking advantage of people to make money.
Well, the media is being used by all faiths, and all of a sudden, by accident, my radio has tuned in to an evangelical Christian station. Beautiful songs, you know, very spiritual songs in it, but you're not allowed to dance, as far as Rashid's concerned. But the words are very good. But it's that connection with, you see, I'm a military man, and when they send the military all over the world, you get education in relation to population, poverty, issues to do with, you know, whether you have Gaddafis or whatever. You get to know the country, and generally there's a plan. There's a British plan, a secret plan for every country in the world, where if something happened, how the Brits would be pulled out. The JTB, Joint Theatre Plan, and that was one of my fortes in relation to updating these plans all over the world. So what I always came across was this challenge of lack of education, challenge of faith illiteracy, where people, you know, who can actually manipulate the masses through selective quotations. And I'm sure even in the church, the very strong way that the pulpit used to sell the message of hell, you know, and all that, it used to be. Now things have changed, where today maybe you have a dialogue with a congregation, whereas before what the priest said was it, and if you didn't, you would be...
I think it's not just education. I'm a little reluctant, Rashid, to set myself, because I'm a Westerner and I've had lots of formal education. Somehow that puts me in a superior position to, you know, somebody who farms the land in Africa and believes firmly and truly what they believe. But you can see what you talked about, people commercialising religion, and some of them frankly charlatans. Not all, but some of them frankly charlatans. That happens quite a lot at the edges of Christianity too. You blame Northerners, I'm going to blame Americans, but it does happen a lot. In America, you're from America, you're familiar with this. And there are very similar things that happen a lot on evangelical